Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jarek Bryan Show. My name is Jarek, and on today's show, we're going to have the lovely Anna from Metavixen. And I just want to say hi, Anna. How are you?
Hi, Jarek. Thank you so much for the invite. Really excited to be here. Thank
Oh,
you.
I am ecstatic that you're here, and a big fan of the art and everything like that. But can you just kind of like before we get into the artwork and how you got into Web3, could you kind of tell me a little bit more about yourself, like a little short bio?
Of course, of course. So I'm Anna. I'm an artist. I've been a graphic designer for almost a decade now. So I've always been very passionate about art, about visual art, design, everything that has to do with that. And I have some experience with book illustrations and toy graphics and various things. I've always tried to expand my portfolio and to just have fun creating. I'm just very excited to have become an NFT artist in the past couple of years. It's been a really different kind of journey, and yeah, it's really exciting to be honest.
Oh no, like I said, it's just like this artwork is so amazing, right? And I just definitely want to say like what's the inspiration behind it? What is your kind of like this artwork is just like I said, it's so different, right? And it's just so unique. I've never really seen something like done like this. Like what's your inspiration behind this art?
To be honest, it came quite organically because I've always really enjoyed drawing, ladies in my spare time. I've always, had a lot of passion points, such as fashion and makeup and things like that. And it always made sense to express myself through that. And I always thought there was something really empowering about creating women art and things like that. So I always I always tended to create a lot of looking back of vixen looking artwork in my past. So yeah, the whole project came to me quite organically after a short while of coming into Web3 and checking it out. Because to be honest, coming from the art community, I didn't hear the best things about NFTs to
Hmm.
start with, but I had to check it out and see for myself what it is about. And to me, it was quite appealing from the start. I think the main thing was the idea of being able to authenticate your art on the blockchain. To me, that was really cool because I think it's quite unprecedented, right? As an artist, to be able to have that proof of ownership, and also to be able to share that art with people around the world with such ease, without like a middleman or anything. Because I have tried, as an artist, I've tried to sell art, the conventional way, and go to fairs and all that. And of course, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it can be time consuming. It's very limited in terms of who you can reach and things like that. So yeah, it just clicked when I first came in. And I think I was I learned what NFTs were basically in the beginning of last year. And I created my wallet, and I started to collect a few things at first. And then I had the idea, should I try to do something to express myself somehow? And I did feel at the time there was a little something missing in terms of women artwork, more
Hmm.
feminine inspired things. I do enjoy a wide variety of art, but I did feel there was not enough at the time. Um, so I thought to myself, what, this is what I'm passionate about. Is there any way that I can channel this passion into creating a project, and expressing myself, and just trying it out basically. It was more or less an experiment, and I always like to refer to it as a little art journal, because I thought it would be really cool to try it out. And my idea was, it's basically, the Metavixens are basically an art project disguised as a PFP project.
Hmm.
uh, because every piece is a one-to-one. Every piece is an individual piece of artwork, but at the same time, I thought it would be an interesting challenge to tie them all together and to have like a coherent iconic look. So you would see one, know what it is, even though it's, it's a one-off piece kind of thing.
Oh yeah, great. And how does okay? So kind of walk me through on exactly how do you like so when you do your drops, right? So everybody kind of like bids on them. Is that from understanding? I was a little confused on that part. Like when you're getting ready to drop another collection or another like or mint or so to speak, like so it's like a bidding process. Or could you kind of walk us through that project process?
Yes, definitely. So the whole auction thing was not my plan. But I can just go back to when I started. Actually, um, I actually drew 30, I think 20 or 30, and I I minted them. I created the collection. I minted them out there. I had no following. I had nothing. I created the project Twitter, and I just went with that. So I had a few quiet weeks trying to figure out how to get the project out there, trying to figure out some promo material and everything. And then a few sales started coming, and I think it was around 2 months in when I actually started having more people, more than one person interested in the same item, because I would drop them. I had a little roadmap, and I said, okay, I started at 0.005 wrap ETH. And then my idea was when I would be finished with the first 130, it would be at around 0.02. Um, so that was my phase one. Sorry for going a bit off topic there,
No, no,
but
no, no.
I
Keep
had my
going. No,
phase one.
this is interesting.
So that's what I started with. I said, okay, I'm going to do these 130 vixens, which now the community refers as the OG vixens, so to speak, and and I'll take it from there. Basically, that was my idea. I'm going to see how people respond to this, and just feel it out. That was the whole point behind it. And people responded to it quite well, and they were interested in, okay, let's see what's next, what's more. So of course I decided to continue, and started to ramp up and to look into what makes sense next. And then, yeah, I think around that point, more people started to be interested, because the way I would do it, having a 30 item drop and all by myself, I would usually I would mint them on a Thursday night, and then on Fridays I would just list them at the expected price. So that's how it would work. And people started to place these bids, basically claiming them, saying, okay, I'm going to buy this one, so instead of listing it, just accept the offer when the time comes. Yeah, and then suddenly I remember there were 2 or 3 people interested in the same one. I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now?
Hmm.
So what made sense for the collection itself and for its growth is to incorporate these auctions for the items that more people would be interested in. And I actually also reached out to the community, which was very small at the time, but I did feel the pulse on that. Like, how do you feel about this? Because just to make sure everybody agrees it's the fair thing to do, and they did. And then suddenly, I think by summer last year, all the items would be on auction, because I always had more than one offer on them, which to me was mind-blowing. And to be honest, it still is. I still get the same feeling. It's like, oh my god, I still get that excitement every time it happens. So yes, I do release these every second Friday in batches. And again, last summer it used to be 30 items per batch, which was intense. And also at the time, the automated auction system was not supported on Polygon and OpenSea, so I had to do them manually, which which was really intense sometimes, I swear, because I had these 30 items, and I always had like the drop time at the same time every second Friday for 18 months now, because I do like consistency, and I do think the community appreciates knowing exactly when things are going to happen and at what hour, and things like that. But yeah, I do remember a few really really intense times when I had to do it manually, and I would accept an offer, and then another one would go through as I was accepting, and I was like, there's nothing I can do about it. There was a lot of work like that, but I'm really happy when OpenSea actually announced that they were going to support automated ones, because now I don't have to stress about that. I just I mint them and I list them straight up for auction the night before, and it's out of my hands at that point, which is much less stressful, because the more I can focus on actually creating the artwork, the better.
No, no, that's great. And so, can you kind of tell me, like, when was the kind of moment that you kind of like, I guess, kind of like, not so much. I guess you could kind of say in this sense, like, when did you know that, hey, like, I really got something, like, go, like here, like, kind of like you, like, oh man, I kind of like made it in a sense. Like, a lot of people are really interested in this art. Like, you can you remember a moment or a moment in time to where you actually like experienced that and felt that, and how did that feel?
I think I had that a few different moments. I think when I had my first sale, I actually was really excited. I think that was something I really appreciated, because I've experienced selling art in real life, but somehow this was a brand new kind of feeling. I was like, wow, it was that thing all over again. It was the very first experience of having a sale. To me, that was very memorable. And the next one was actually, the moment I was telling you about earlier, when I had multiple people interested in the same item. To me, that was really something that I felt very humbled and very very excited to see it happen. It's like, wow, this is really, really nice, because again, especially starting with no community, I had to build a community alongside the project. And I remember, the first few weeks, basically it felt like tweeting into a void. There's
Oh yeah.
nothing. I would 2 likes and one retweet at a time. I was like, oh my god. So it's again, it's been a very slow journey, but it's very satisfying to do it, in such a slow pace. Um, because again, I feel like a year and a half here feels like a long time, but at the same time, I still feel like we're just getting started. So it's really, it's a very interesting kind of journey.
You do have a very passionate community. I will say that. I mean, I have you know it like, so basically what I was trying to like kind of say in the sense of like, you guys are like very passionate. You have a lot of very community members that are very passionate about the art, and that's what kind of like attracted my attention, because I was just one day just going on like Twitter, and then we did the you did the partnership with Brozos, and like how many people like commented, and just a whole bunch of other people. I'm like, man, where do all these people come from? And if you're saying that you had almost nobody, it's really hard for me to believe, because you have a very passionate community. So that's just kind of more hats off to you, and everything like that. But there is also, you did mention OpenSea, right? So
Yeah,
why aren't you on Magic Eden? Because I believe that your artwork is so good that it should be on, it should be pretty much put up everywhere, right? And people that are usually, all the projects on Polygon are usually on Magic Eden, right? And
yeah.
but you're not there. Could you kind of like give the audience kind of a reason as to why you're not there?
Of course. It's actually, uh, we would love to be on more marketplaces, because right now the Vixens are exclusively on OpenSea, and that is mainly because of the type of contract that we're on. It's a 1155 kind of contract, and as I was saying earlier, I started as an experiment, and it was the most accessible way to do it, and I learned. I wish I knew back then more, obviously, but I learned everything along the way. Um, so of course, that type of contract, has its limitations, and we're hoping those challenges can be overcome. And we're in dialogue with Magic Eden, and we know everyone over there. They're really nice. So we're hoping that it will be integrated soon. Um, and let's see, because again, we would love to actually have the Vixens in more places, just to have that, to have those fresh eyes, and then to have that visibility. It would be amazing, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think so though too, because Like I said, the artwork is great, right? And I just feel that you guys should be kind of like up there with everybody else because it's not like you guys haven't had any kind of trading volume or anything like that. You guys have actually had quite a bit of trading volume, and your floor prices are really, really good too as well. Not that it matters, but you guys are like anybody that like has one that wanted to sell, they can sell for a pretty good profit right now. Even though I doubt you'd want to sell because it's just such amazing artwork. But I will say this though, you also I noticed too when I was kind of researching, you can do it in wrapped ETH and Matic. Is that something that you kind of wanted for more people to on the ETH side, or is that just something you just happened to kind of stumble into having both wrapped ETH and Matic?
Well, when I started, Polygon was quite quiet compared to what it is
Mm-hmm.
this year or today. It was very very quiet, and I figured early on that my target audience would be art collectors, and a lot of them are or were focused on Ethereum, and I felt like it would be an easier way to onboard these people who are more familiar with Ethereum into the Polygon system, because in a way it's easier to see wrapped ETH, and you basically know, okay, this is the equivalent of ETH. So in that sense, to me, it made more sense. And of course, the collectors do have the option to list their items in Matic, so that option is still there. But to me, it made sense to stick consistently with wrapped Ether. It's just, of course, I do appreciate having the native token and everything. But I think for this collection, I that was my gut feeling, and I've relied a lot of it, on the gut feeling, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, you know. But of course, I think at the end of the day, as long as you have a clear message and a clear vision behind your project, it wouldn't necessarily make a difference, what you listed in, because at the end of the day, I think that's what matters, the everything behind it. But
No, yeah,
we're in
no,
wrapped
yeah.
teeth.
No, it was a genius idea, and you were right. So it actually paid off for you though too. So I thought that was genius too. I was like, man, there's like different ways. Of course, there's ETH, there's wrapped ETH, there's Matic, and I just thought that I was like, man, I didn't know it was just a gut feeling. I honestly thought you actually. Yeah, I didn't know you went off gut. That's actually pretty funny, actually. And you were right, though, 100% right. So, can you name some of the projects that you've done special like 101s for, just so the audience can kind of like go research some of those?
You mean the collabs we've
Yes, the collabs
created?
that you've had with other projects.
Oh, we've done some really nice collabs with Alpha, with Brozo. Oh my God, wait! I'm so sorry. Please cut
No, it's okay.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
She's sick,
Okay, I'll
guys, and
start
she's
over.
on here. What a trooper!
So, uh, no, I think collaboration on Polygon has been one of the most. I feel like Polygon, compared to other blockchains, and that's not to say anything bad about the other blockchains, but from what I've experienced, the idea of collaboration is very fundamental here. And we all have our projects, but we all know each other. We all talk with each other, and we're familiar with what everybody's doing. So it's been actually really great to be able to reach out to these really lovely projects and be like, hey, can we do something fun together? And with Brozo, we also had an airdrop collab, and also drill club more recently. We've had, so the way we've done it, the setup was creating a one of one piece, inspired by the artwork. So it would be like the drill vixen, it would have certain traits from the really iconic pieces, really iconic traits from the drill. And the way we did was we auctioned those one-of-one pieces out, and we donated to charity, because I do think it's to to give back, and I do try to incorporate that into the project, and I always reach out to the community and see if there's anything, particular charity they're really passionate about, so we can do that too. And but yeah, we've done those pieces, and then sent some airdrops to the holders. So we did two different artworks for the airdrops. One of them would be sent to the Metavixen holders, and one of them would be sent to their holders. Like we did the same for Brozo and for Drill. So it was really fun. It was a way to to cross pollinate these projects, and of course we're kind of familiar with each other, but it's a nice celebration of our we're collaborating, we're here, we're together, we're on Polygon, we support each other, kind of thing. So I think it's always fun. And for the moment I have pinned collaborations. I have put a pin in it for now, because I have to focus on other things.
Sure.
But it's been really exciting to be able to do these collabs this year, with these really cool projects. And because it's been really really awesome to see them come up this year and then really really kick ass, and to see like the whole Polygon ecosystem changing and evolving. It's been really really cool.
No, that's great. And I will ask you this. I'll slide this kind of like question in here too. So, is there any projects that that interest you that you would like to do a collab like down the line, like that are out right now?
uh, an OG Polygon project of mine, but I won't name names. And I'll see. I'll touch base with them again later this year and see if we can make something cool happen. Because I know they've been busy, we've been busy, but I'm sure we can make something cool happen at some point.
Oh no, sweet. Okay, okay. So kind of like when I was kind of like doing my research on you and kind of like going through everything. So explain to me like kind of like the perks of being a Metavixen holder, and also too, I noticed the number of vixens you hold actually get you certain perks. Can you kind of go over some of those things?
Yes. So the project, I've been very very friend forward about this from the beginning. The project's main point is art. So it made sense, that I would basically create more art for these awesome community members and collectors, which I feel I have so many incredibly you know how do I even say this? People that are very passionate about the art, and that's what it is all about. Because we have all these like fun utilities and giveaways and things like that in the Discord, but it's not about that. It's about the art, no fluff. That's what it is. So again, I feel really grateful that they appreciate the work I do, because of course they do take time and effort, but there's so much fun to create, and it's so motivating to see people responding to them, and having these reactions from the community has been really great. So I remember a few, like in the beginning, I created a few pieces of a few airdrops, and then sent them to the holders for different occasions and different things, and they responded quite nicely to that. They were so excited. And then starting last August, I set up this monthly holder airdrop. So every month, if you hold one vixen, you would get I'm so sorry. So every month I would create a piece of art and send it to all of my holders. And it's really fun because they know it's coming, but it's always fun when they share it and everything, and they're a lot of fun to create. And then for the bigger holders, if they collect 13 vixens, they would get one custom, which is also a big celebration in the community when that happens. And we've recently had that happen this week, so we had a custom reveal, and it's a really fun way to to involve the community in building this collection, because they will have that that custom becomes part of the main collection, which is really nice. And everybody's excited to see what's it going to be, and stuff like that. So that's been really really cool. And when you get a custom, you become part of the custom club, and you also get an additional airdrop every month, which I've started a few months ago, and that's also really cool. That's something I like to make sure there's something for everyone involved, and there's something a bit more for the bigger collectors. So it is a bit, a few tiers, if you want to call them like that. And actually, if you have 5 customs, you get an animated one, which
Oh, nice.
yes. So Jake has an animated one, which has play at NFT NYC this year. So it was really, really cool to see it, in Times Square. I was not there in person, but I had a lot of people, sending me footage of it. So it was really, really nice.
How did that make you feel?
Oh my God, I have no words. Because especially in terms of, I've been trying to explain my Web3 journey to non-Web3 people, and it's been really hard, because I can say, my drop sold out or something, and cool. But this was very tangible. This was literally like, I can explain to everyone, look guys, I have a piece of art that was displayed, in Times Square. And it's been such an incredible highlight, not just as an NFT artist, but for me as an overall artist. It's been a dream come true, really. It's really, really amazing. I wish I was there in person, and I know Jake wishes that too. It was still really cool to know that it happened, and to see it, to see the videos of it and everything. It's really, really cool.
So when you get to when you say custom pieces, are you talking about custom pieces of that person, or custom pieces just a custom piece that you just made?
Like a vixen, they get to choose whatever they want. As for example, I have collectors that have decided that their custom would be based on their wife, for example. Or I have other collectors that decide, okay, this is my favorite game character, I want her. And it's interesting because I get to work with them. I have experience as a freelancer from the past, so it's basically working with them and creating that perfect vixen they're visualizing.
Oh no, that's
So
great.
it's
That
really,
was great. I'm sorry.
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying that it's really interesting to be able to have that kind of, to have a part of them in the collection. And in a way, it's the same with the Vixen vials too, because so the Vixen vials are a way that you can. I was thinking what would be fun, and I was talking to some of the community members. I remember talking to Jake about it last summer. Trying to figure out how we can interact a bit with the vixens in a very limited kind of way. But so what has happened is I've been dropping these vials once a month this year. So, and it's the same format as the normal vixens. It's an auction-based system in the vials collection, because there are actually 3 collections. There's the Metavixens exclusives, where all the airdrops happen, and then there's the vials, where I just drop the vials, and then they go on auction, and the holder who wins that gets to choose whichever of their vixens they want to use it on. We've had 5 types so far, so they all have different kinds of effects. But in a way, it's not a custom per se, but they still get that input. They get to decide, okay, it's going to be this, with this kind of thing. So it's, in a way, I still feel it's, letting the holders, leave their mark in the collection too, which is really cool, because I do, as I said, it's such a passionate community, and we've always had the challenge, being a low supply kind of project, that we cannot ever have thousands of holders. There's only so many items in the main collection, but just knowing they're so passionate and they're so vocal about it, and it just feels really, really great. So I want to to be able to involve them as much as possible in creating this collection, because it's an advantage to me knowing that we're still building this. as we go along. So um, yeah, it's a bit non-conventional in many ways, um, but it's working. It's working for what it is. It made sense to do it the way to do it this way, because of course I did think about doing a generative at the beginning, but it's like, no, I'm here. I'm passionate about creating. I'm passionate about this, and I want that to shine through. So of course, there's always doubts when you do something, and there's always how is everybody going to respond to this, because it's not the classic thing to do here. um so even more so, I'm just very grateful to have this community behind, because the project is nothing without a community here. Like, that's, let's be honest. So yeah, I'm just happy about that, and happy to be able to involve them.
No, yeah, see, that's what I was saying. That's so cool, and then people can do it about their wives or anything like that. But I kind of thought that you would do like a custom vixen of me, and nobody wants to see me as a female. I'm sorry, because that's pretty gross. Not gonna lie, I would make an ugly female.
Nah, I don't think so. I think we can make it work.
so, uh, so like, as we kind of get on this topic, right? And you know that there's not a lot of women in Web3, right? But in your opinion, has it gotten better? Has it gotten better? Like being in Web3, and is it you're starting to see a lot more women, or what's been kind of like your journey, like kind of through that?
I mean, I do see more and more women in the space, and in various roles, um, which is really, really awesome. And I think, at the end of the day, it's our responsibility as as community members, as founders, as everything, that we foster these welcoming communities at the end of the day. Because as long as we make, we focus on that kind of, not a toxic positivity kind of thing, but just a welcoming place where you can feel like, okay, I am welcome here. I can, I don't have to feel stressed about anything. As long as we do that, and we make it welcoming for everyone, that will happen. It's hard to just say, to focus on a particular thing. I think, to me, it's more important that everybody feels welcome, because you know then we make it easy for for everyone, so to speak. And of course, I do, as I said in the beginning, I do like creating this more feminine kind of art. And it's always nice to get feedback, and hear, because I know, of course, if you really think about it statistically, of course, there's not that many, female representations at this. So it's just nice, especially when you come in here. And I remember I also felt a bit like it does feel intimidating at times, and it can feel a bit, bro centric kind of thing. And I think it's gotten better, um, gradually. But I think it's our responsibility, in a way, to create, these welcoming environments. Thing will, it'll be easier to onboard everyone, regardless of, their gender or their occupation, because I think there's place for everybody here, to grow their skills and to contribute.
No, yeah, 100% agree, and I'm very pro women and everything like that. In Web3, I definitely think that we definitely need more women in Web3. But what advice would you give to a fellow, woman that's kind of like scared, doesn't really, this really sees like kind of like it's very kind of male dominated right now, right? But still a little bit. But it's to me, I think it's getting a little bit better. But what advice would you give to a woman that's kind of scared and just kind of like, I don't know, and they have doubts and everything like that? What advice would you give to her?
Oh, and again, I will go to extending this advice to everyone, and because it does apply to everyone. Uh, Try to open up, be genuine, and try to, to make these connections. Go to spaces, not necessarily to speak, just to hear what projects are about, just to feel that vibe. I think the spaces are an excellent tool for getting to know a project, to get to know a community, and all that. And I think again, I'm trying to put myself in those shoes again, because in the beginning I don't think spaces was even a thing at the time. So it was very strange, because I could see, the NFT community felt like this thing. It's like, how do I even, become part of it? So I think it's, it's a process no matter what. It's not easy at first, and I think, that's why we're also, onboarding will never be easy, because there are a lot of aspects. There's a lot of um education behind it. You have to actually learn so many new things coming into this place, right? As regardless of your gender. um but I do think, I'm so sorry, if you're being genuine, and if you're willing to make connections, and it's such an amazing place to be, and such an amazing place to grow and figure out, again, what kind of, everybody has different skill sets, and everything, can be used in a way. And if you find, you don't necessarily have to be here, to create a project or do anything to to find your place. I think there's a place for everyone. So again, it can be it can be scary at first. I remember I was a bit, what am I doing here? But
No,
as you get to know more people, and realize, okay, these are just normal people from around the world. They are in the same position that I am, kind of thing. Then it's just easier, to connect with everyone, and yeah.
no, yeah, and I totally agree. And there's definitely a place for you and every women or whoever you are here in crypto and Web3. But I do want to say, kind of like, I know you're very busy, and I know, of course, you're kind of like very sick right now. You're actually on the verge of like, coughing a lung out. So I really do appreciate you coming on. What plans does Metavixen has for the rest of the year? Like, what do you hope to accomplish?
um well, first off, as I said, the project is first and foremost about the art. So I want to continue to create high quality art for the community. That's always the main goal, because we're still, the collection is still growing at this point. So I have a few things in the pipeline, but I'm very, I wouldn't say superstitious, but until I have something that's ready to go, I won't necessarily, to talk about it too much, because I like to have that flexibility of changing things, which is really nice. And again, it's one of the things that I really appreciate by being a one person kind of team. And of course, I have some amazing, members of the community behind, and they always, have fun ideas and advice and everything. But I do enjoy having that flexibility. So I'm not going to say anything in particular, but I create every month. I have these little monthly roadmaps where we do these kind of things. So right now we're done actually with drops for August. I'm about to send out the monthly holder airdrop tonight, which is really exciting always, because we're actually, we're starting year 2 of the airdrops. So it'll be a new kind of setup. um I changed up the pose a bit, just so you can, so you have the first 12 will be a particular pose, and these ones will be a bit different, so you can see it's a brand new year. And that's also been a lot of work, just figuring out that one pose. So it's been really fun. And then we also have actually the Vixen Rumbles going on Discord, which is a really cool way to involve the community, and not, the broader community, and not just the holder group. Because we do have a lot of people that, they're actively engaging, and they're actively posting about Vixens, which is really, really nice. And I always appreciate that, because again, it feels like not that long ago, that 3 likes kind of engagement. I still feel that. So I'm very grateful for for everybody posting and doing stuff like that. So what we do is we have these Vixen Rumbles on every Monday to Friday in the Discord, and we can win artwork. So right now we're at season 5. So every season had a different kind of Rumble Vixen, and I actually have some plans with that that I'm still finishing up, and I'll announce more in September. But it's really cool because I'm trying to to always think of ways to tie the Metavixen exclusives collection to the main collection in a way. So it's a lot of fun, and sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming because you come in here as an artist, and then suddenly you're wearing 15 different hats, and you have to adapt to that. But at the same time, I like to keep that playfulness that instead of feeling overwhelmed, like, oh my god, there's so much fun that you can have. There's so many aspects that you can, oh, this would be really cool, or the guys would really appreciate this, or how can I reward my holders, or there's always fun things in the back of my mind, and I can always I try not to be obsessed over it, but I always, like, something pops in my head, like I could be at work or doing something else, and like, oh, this would be cool. So I feel like it's always on the back of my mind in a way, but in a very positive way, not in a daunting kind of way. And again, I would like to, like, the amount of commitment you have to have here, coming in and growing a project is crazy. And I think it's a good reminder for everyone, because you come here and that's, again, I'm going off topic again.
Oh, no.
But I remember, when I was trying to figure out the project, like what I want to do, I thought to myself, what do I see myself happily doing for years and years to come, basically. And I think that's very important, because longevity is a big thing here. A project is easy, it's easy enough to launch, but for to be able to do it like this, and especially an art project, you have to really love what you're doing. And I'm really happy I really thought about that before I started. So yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff in the works, and I still have to update the merch shop. And I know that was on my August to-do list, and August is almost over, and I really need to do that. Sorry.
No. And speaking of which, though, right? Because it would be criminal for you not to have any kind of merch or anything like that. You do have merch, correct? Or you're gonna have merch?
I do have a little merch shop that I launched last summer. So we do have a few Metavixen products out there. And last month I ordered, some more samples to try out and see if, what other products would make sense to have, because I do like to test them out before, just to make sure, everything is up to par and the quality is nice, and, it's a nice excuse to get some more Metavixen stuff. But yeah, I do have a little merch shop, and it's just so nice when I see holders or non-holders, posting their Metavixen stuff. It's just so cool to see them representing, and I think it starts to feel more like a brand, right? Because I've always been building this project as a cohesive brand, and I've always tried to make it recognizable and cohesive, and it's just so nice to see that through the merch. And I know it could be just a t-shirt or something, but just seeing somebody wear it is like, wow, okay, this feels real. I
definitely need to get one. I definitely need to get
one. Please do. We do have some men products too. Definitely.
I would totally rock one. 100%. 100%. 100% rock. Like I said, like like I said, this artwork is really good, and I would love like a hoodie or a shirt or whatever the case may be, anything to support your artwork, because I think it's just top notch. And I really do appreciate you coming on, and kind of with everything that I have kind of here and all this stuff, great stuff you've given me. Do you have anything else to say, or do you have any community members to shout out, or anybody else to shout out before you leave?
Definitely, I would love to give everybody in the community a big shout out, but I will have to highlight a few, and I will always highlight Jake. I will always highlight Foley and Fred, but I'm always afraid that I'll miss giving somebody a shout out. But everybody has just been so so incredibly supportive. And also the friendships that have been created here are wow. I can honestly tell you, every single day I'm still in awe at everything, and I'm not taking it for granted, and it doesn't go away and just say, oh, okay, this is just what it is. I'm just in a way, I'm still at that point where I'm just starting this project, very naively so, and be like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And so that's the mindset I have. So whenever, you know, I'm just incredibly touched by everybody's support. Um, and I'm just excited to continue to grow this project. Like I can't even I have so many ideas all the time that I just have to filter through them and see, okay, what makes sense and what's realistic. Uh, because I always have to make sure whatever I take on is realistic to do. And I always have to think about the time frames and everything. But yeah, I can honestly say it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of fun too. So it balances out. And I'm just really happy to be here, and I'm really happy that you invited me here tonight. It was really nice, and I always enjoy talking about all this stuff.
Oh yeah, no. When I saw your artwork, I had to have you on. Actually, you're like one of like the first projects I'm actually going to have on in my interview series. So this should be dropped here shortly. Of course, we're gonna like do everything we can to kind of get the word out on Metavixen. I'm gonna do my part too in that too. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on, Anna and Johnny, Big Neil, Mr. Mint. Please get this woman on Magic Eden. This is great artwork. You guys are missing out. Anna, I appreciate you coming on. I know you were pretty much close to being in the ICU with your cough and everything like that, but I appreciate you and thank you.
Thank you so much. This was really fun. Thank you so much.
No worries. And guys, that wraps our show. If you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, download. Much appreciated. Follow me on X, and I will see you guys around on the blockchain. Take care.